everyone, how's it going? Welcome back to City Skylines. Welcome back to Dorchester. I certainly hope you're having a fantastic day because I am excited. I'm excited for a couple of reasons. Number one, we are of course back in City Skylines. Number two, this episode is not being recorded on the live stream. I've been a little bit ill these last 2 days and I've just not been feeling it on the live stream. I've been just kind of wanting to sit back and chat and relax a little bit. So I didn't really get anything recorded on the live stream when I should have. So I thought that we'd do a couple of episodes that are off of the stream where we can talk and look at some of the comments and look at some of the stuff that I have done since the last episode went out on YouTube, or at least since I recorded the last episode that went out on YouTube. So first and foremost, right here, you might be able to tell there have been some changes to the university itself. Ignore the fire in the background. That happens. There is a major problem with parts of Dorchester catching fire. And I don't quite know why, because we give everyone smoke detectors. And honestly, I think they're taking the batteries out of them and just using them for, honestly, whatever else you put a square battery into, because whatever it is, they're not using the smoke detectors. Between you and me, I think there's a conspiracy, but we'll not get into that. What I have done, though, is I've sunken the road that leads to Lynch College, because I think it looks really cool. And I have seen a bunch of people mentioning that it does look quite Soviet with the buildings on each side, which I did mention when I was building it, and that is kind of intentional. I want it to feel dense and a little imposing, and I want these big white walls and all that stuff to really be showing off. So I thought sinking this road down would be really cool, which I think it is. I think having the trees kind of lining the road as you go up and, towards the main building is really cool. And I like the idea of having this dedicated entrance on the highway. I know this is something a couple of people have mentioned they're not so sure about. I like it a lot. I think it's really cool, especially when it's sunk down like this. And then this area here, this little grid, it's nothing right now. It is eventually going to be connected to some area over here if and when we get that tile. But right now it is just there as like a placeholder thing so I can get an idea of what this area could potentially look like, because we do on this island want a bunch of density. Moving over this way, we'll ignore the lack of power because that's just an issue with the dam. There was an idea. There was an idea to bring together 6 of the most powerful. I don't know. There was an idea to put a bus depot inside a factory. It was in comments on one of these videos. It was in the live stream chat, and it turns out it's a brilliant idea. Now, the comment mentioned that I shouldn't have gotten rid of the other factory, and I should have used it, but I decided to use this one because it's just as cool. And what we've done is gone ahead and put a biofuel bus depot inside this old abandoned factory, as though it's sort of been repurposed, but they wanted to keep the exterior kind of the same. I don't know how much sense that necessarily makes. I did keep the tanks on the outside because I can't really fit them inside anyway. And I did, turn some of this road into paved road and stuff like that, so it all kind of matches. But the buses do actually come out of the factory, and I can do a little temporary bus line just to demonstrate that, which is what this bus line here is actually. So what we'll do is we'll delete that bus line, which apparently people aren't very happy about in this neighborhood. It's weird. They're actually using the buses despite the fact that the line doesn't really go anywhere. But they are using the buses, which again, a little bit weird. But what we'll do is just put in a little temporary bus line, something like this, right? And if we go have a little look at the factory, you'll see the buses actually come out of it, which is the coolest thing. I absolutely love that suggestion. I think it looks fantastic. I think it looks so cool. It doesn't really necessarily make sense. Why would the city put a bus depot out here? But I think it looks awesome. So I'm 100% keeping that. We have biofuel buses coming out of this old factory. I think that's so cool. That's not the only thing I've changed though since last time. I've been playing around a little bit more with Sunken Highways. And we have this as a result. Now, this is something I'm not sure I'm going to keep because honestly, I think it looks cool. I do. And I want to connect it to more parts of the city. I just don't know how I'm going to connect it to the rest of the city because I'm thinking we're going to do a tunnel at the end here, which will eventually connect over to that island once we unlock that tile. But right now it just connects here and it works. It does take a little bit of a load off of this roundabout, which is still sort of temporary. But I just don't know. I just don't know how we're going to connect it to other places. I don't know if it's ever going to be useful. I just think it looks cool and it plays into the whole building character thing. So I think we'll keep it for the time being. It is actually its own district, by the way, which has the IT cluster specialization on it. So all these buildings down the sides are actually IT specialized buildings, which again, I think looks quite cool. I like the tiny little buildings. I like that it's quite imposing, quite strange, a little bit weird, but I like it a lot. It's got a weird character to it. Anyway, what I want to focus on today is going ahead, just getting the population up a little bit, because we are really close. I also need to make sure Anarchy's turned off, but I want to get the population up a little bit. We are really, really close to getting 16,000 people, which is what we need for this, to be a big city, to get the 2x2 kilometer tile, all that good stuff. And that means we can start building on that island, which I'm really excited to do. So let's go ahead and let's take out some of this low density. If not, you know what? All of it. Let's take out all of this low density over here. We don't need it. We're not using it. We're going to replace it with bigger and better buildings. So just a bunch of high density residential can be absolutely crammed into this neighborhood. Just like so. There we go. So just like that, absolutely replace all of it. I think that's the last bit. Oh no, we do have a little bit of low density over here. We'll go ahead and just replace that while we're at it. And we have a little bit just around here as well, but that's not really is the end of the world. What we can do while we have some demand for commercial and for offices though, is we can go in and we can maybe just tear out all of the low density in this little area here and replace that with some high density commercial. And I'm noticing there's some weird zoning going on here, because we did have a building and we do have zoning on that bit of path. So if I go in and say I want to upgrade that path, there we go. So that's not gotten rid of it. We can go in and just change it back to this guy and maybe keep it on the ground a little bit there. And that fixes did that fix the zoning? It actually didn't. Do we have collisions turned up? We do. Right. That's fixed the zoning. And we'll just do the same at that end as well. And we'll do the same at that end. And at this end, this end, and this end as well. Just to make sure that everything is set up properly. We might actually have that problem in a few other places, but I'm going to have to keep an eye out to see if that's the case. But what we'll do in the time being is just go ahead, fire a bunch of high-density commercial into this little strip here. And that's probably all we need for commercial right now. What I'll also do is take out all of this space here and fire a bunch of offices along the water's edge there. I don't know if that's what's going to be here long-term. I don't know how much of this entire area is going to be here long-term, because I don't really know what I want this area to be just yet. I have a vision in mind for what this island is going to be. College here, city hall, city center, like here-ish, really dense tower blocks and all that stuff down there. All of that stuff on that island, but I don't know what this area is going to be, which is weird because it's sort of our starting area, but that's fine. We'll figure it out. And then this area as well, which is still sort of on fire, obviously just a suburb. I still haven't got the tree brush, by the way. I should probably mention that. That is a thing that I do not have, and I do need to get. Although, there is one thing I do have, which is the updated version of Traffic Manager, which we can go in and have a little poke about with, because there's some pretty cool tools in here. So, first and foremost, I believe it's control click with the lane arrows. So if we control click here, I think it just updates everything. I know the roundabout's probably already set up that way, but it does update everything really, really nicely. And it should get the roundabouts working really well. I mean, we can see we have traffic actually going out to that inside lane and merging across later on. That's kind of how this roundabout over here, I mean, it doesn't look like it's working, but it is actually working. We have traffic in all of the different lanes, and there's no there's none of this. There's none of these lane connectors going on. It's just working with this version of Traffic Manager, which is fantastic. And I love it. I've also done a little bit of work with, you know, asymmetrical roads. So we have 3 lanes coming in, 1 going out. We have 3 lanes going this way and 1 going in as well. But it's working for the most part. And I absolutely love it. I do want to do a little bit of lane management here, though, just to say that you guys can, you know, maybe stay in lane a little bit there, because that merging is not doing us any favors. And what we'll do is just a little something like this and just a little something like this. I also really like the bold lines on this. It's really, really nice. We'll get you going that way, and we'll get you going that way. And that should be totally fine. So they will stay in lane. They will pick their lane as soon as they get on the road, and that will hopefully help things a little bit with those roads. Looking at population, this whole area still has a lot of building to do. We do have a lot of garbage complaints in there as well, which is largely because all of our garbage is obviously getting held up by the roundabout, but it's not anywhere near as bad as it once was. At one point, I had traffic tailing back almost to that bridge, so this is nowhere near as bad as it has been. And I suppose the reason traffic's probably getting bad right now is we have thousands of people now moving into new buildings inside of this part of Dorchester. So again, fair to say that traffic's gonna suffer a little bit. It is a roundabout. It is a pretty busy section of road. It's a lot of roads intersecting on one roundabout. You know, it's gonna be messy, but that's okay. It will sort itself out. The population will climb just a little bit. In the meantime, I think it's about time we figure out what we're doing with industry and whether or not we're going to put industry up here, because this could be an interesting area for it, for sure, near the campus and near a lot of our density. And I feel like we could do some bridges and stuff, and we are probably gonna want to do bridges that go straight from industry to the central hub of all of the commercial and all the high density stuff that we've been talking about. So let's spend a little bit of this $3.5 million that we have, and let's say we're going to build a little sort of industrial space out here. So let's get ourselves a nice little road. I'll keep the game running while I do this. I'll keep it running kind of slow though. And let's say we want to go from about here, and we'll just sort of get a nice little angle along the water, which is about there, I think. So that seems like a pretty good angle. We do have anarchy on, so those trees might act up a little bit. Let's just see if we can update that at all. We'll keep anarchy off while we're doing this. And we'll just continue in a straight line a little bit further. And we'll go a little bit further. And then I do want to sort of surround this area. So if we were to go 20 by 20 and then 20 again and 20, that kind of nicely surrounds that space. So we can go right down to here. And I think we'll build industry in there. But what we can also do is bring an avenue off of this, and off of this spot specifically. Because what I'm thinking we do is we get a nice straight slope. We go up to 9 meters and we go like this. And the reason we go like this is that's going to be a bridge that leads directly express from this industrial area into the middle of what will be the central hub of everything that we're doing. And looking at this, it's almost parallel to these roads over here, which has me almost tempted to say that I delete all of this and just build it parallel off of this. I think we're going to do that, and it will not take very long to do at all. I've done it again. I've done it again, haven't I? I've built something that, I've done it again, for God's sake. I did this in New Cities recently. You know what? It's fine. All right. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it. I know what I've built. All right. This is, you know what? We're just gonna move on. It's fine. All right. It's a perfectly reasonable shape for a road in any city to be. It is fine. Just once in a city builder, I don't want to build just a giant, all right. Just once. This it's a perfectly reasonable shape to make because this tree line is in the shape of a giant. All right, I don't. Look. It's fine, okay? We are just gonna move on swiftly is what we're gonna do. Give me a straight slope. Give me, I think, 10 by 10 at a 135. So right there. I didn't want that to be on the ground, actually. I want that to be elevated. And I want to go in a nice straight line here. This bit can be on the ground. Nice straight line through the power lines. That's fine. We'll pause while we do that bit because obviously that might be slightly damaging to the city. So we'll do this, and we'll do this, and we'll do that. So that can run straight out this way, and this is essentially gonna connect into the end of the district. Is what it's gonna do. Are those roads at different points? No, that one's just in shadow. That's fine. One of the spine there is, I'm not helping myself. Is casting a bit of a shadow. All right, we'll have this just come out of the tip of it. And we'll have it just sort of slither its way around to there, which is probably fine. Could use a little bit of a straight slope on that. I think it's a little weird looking. So let's just try resetting straight slopes and doing that right there. That seems a little better. We can smooth that out. I did say I wasn't going to do too much in the way of landscaping, but, you know, a little bit of landscaping it never hurts anybody. To be totally honest, you know. So we'll just do a straight slope there and we'll manscape that later. Which is fine, you know. I think that'll be a good connection, and that can actually, honestly, that'll probably act as a good highway connection at some point to this new area. So I'm kind of excited to have that in there and hopefully build around it to make it look less proud, to be honest, but for the time being, it's probably all right. In fact, what we could do is start building off of here a little bit, and then building off of here, and that should be maybe a little bit further, something like that, 135, 45. So that's what I'm thinking there, and that gives us a nice road along the river as well, which is not a bad thing at all, and it helps this to look a little bit more like a duck. I'm seeing more of a duck there now, if I'm totally honest with you, so that's probably for the best. Why are we losing? Oh, they're all dead. That's why we're losing population. Well, that would, yeah, honestly, that would do it. Oh, hello. This is all on fire as well. Good. All right. Well, at least it's not as bad as the university burning down, which it has done before. So we're not going to stress too much about the general populace being dead. That's something that will hopefully sort itself out at some point. Although it is going to put a bit of a wrench in the works for, you know, getting that population to increase a little bit. So I think what we'll do in the time being is just go ahead and put some little bits of road in here, just to do that. Yeah, this is breaking up a little bit. This is going a long way, is what it's doing. Let me see. We'll do 9 there, and we'll do 9 there. And we could go a little bit like, let me see. We could go in like that a little bit as well, which I think we will do just to really get a good bit more zoning going in there. And actually, we could connect all this together if we really wanted to at this point. And we could, or sorry, not connect it. We could zone it because it does have a connection to the highway over here. So that's kind of tempting. It is very tempting. We do have a bit of industrial demand, and we could put more power generation out here and all that good stuff. So that might be a thing we could do. We could also actually do like a little junction here. I don't know how good of an idea this is necessarily going to be, but I'm kind of tempted. I'm kind of tempted to see what happens if we do that. And I'm kind of tempted to turn it into one of these roads here. I'm not sure that's necessarily something we want to do, but what I'll do for it is say that traffic doesn't go straight across. I think that can be the rule. So traffic won't use this to get from one side to the other. They'll use it to you know, get around a little bit, which I think is fair enough. So we'll do that kind of thing there. That'll hopefully make it kind of interesting, and that'll hopefully work, maybe. We'll find out. What I do want to do is just go ahead and put zoning in here. We're just going to zone it to about that spot, which I think is pretty good. And we can zone this space as well. And then obviously pipes. Pipes are kind of the big thing. I've been forgetting about them here and there, but at least this time I kind of remembered them. So, you know, not quite that forgetful just yet. Although I'm noticing that this space up here still doesn't have any, so that's great. We'll do some pipes here. We'll do some pipes there. And then we'll try and just take some pipes, I guess, around this. Well, maybe just do this. Maybe just keep it nice and simple. Have like a bit of a triangular thing going on there. It looks a bit like a house is what it looks like. And then in terms of connecting that to everything, we'll just bring a pipe across to there. And that should be pretty solid. And then in terms of power generation, I guess we just throw in... Oh, by the way, we have these. We have got the suburban power lines, which I love to bits. I think what we're going to do, though, is just throw a couple of oil plants right in the middle of everything there. And then next to the oil plants, I kind of want to do some recycling centers or some incineration plants. Let's do... Oh, we could do incineration plants. Let's do an incineration plant there, and there. So they're all kind of spaced out a little bit. And then we'll see how things go for the incineration plants. That whole area should build really, really quickly, though, which will be absolutely fantastic. And we'll hopefully see some good stuff happen with all those garbage trucks heading into the city. Obviously, traffic over here is going to be busy. And then traffic going into the city is going to be busy. But I think this is going to be really cool. I really do. Also, the population, we're, number one, losing a little bit of money. Number two, everyone's dead. I was so close. We were at like 15,500 people, and then everybody died. This always happens. The good news is that now that this has got some buildings on it, it looks a little less weird. And also that this happened. We are a big city, which means I can finally go ahead and get this tile, which is, and it's annoying me that island is split across two tiles, but that's fine. We'll get this one. We can't, oh, if I got that one, I could, no, we're getting this one. Oh, wait, no, if I get that one, I can get the highway connection, though. Okay, we're getting this tile. This is going to be weird. This is going to be really weird because I don't have a highway connection in this tile, but we have the tile, so that's fine. Let's bring this avenue straight across then, and let's start figuring some things out because we have some options for sure. So we'll bring that to there. We'll straight slope it across. Although, to be honest, I kind of want to go to that spot and bring it up to be level. So bring it up to there, which is more or less level. We can figure that out shortly later on. But I want to just keep this as a straight slope and start going down with it. So let's go back down to 9 meters. Or let's go to there and go to 12 meters and then go 20 and down to 0 is what I think we'll do there. So to about that spot. And that seems like a decent little slope. We just need to level this whole bit out. So from there to there and there, grab you as well and just level it all to that height. In fact, grab you as well and level it all to that height. And that keeps it all nice and level with the terrain, nice and level with the ground. It just clips the terrain there, goes into the bridge, and then this bit actually needs lowered as well to that height. And that seems pretty decent to me. Obviously, this little bit might need raised ever so slightly, but that seems okay. It seems to be a pretty good height. I think what we could do with it is actually just change it ever so slightly so that that's a bit of a bridge. And I think that looks pretty cool. I mean, we could go in and change it to be the industrial one. We could go in and change it to be like that, which is maybe a little bit silly. We've got, let's see, what else have we got? We have some options. We have with, you know, trams and bikes. We have boulevard with bikes and tram lines. We've got just with the bike lanes. I'd be very tempted to just do this with the bike lanes down the middle, because it is quite cool looking, actually, to have like the bike lanes separated by some pavement. But I also kind of really like the bit that goes up and over. So I think we'll keep that is what we'll do. But the good news is that is completely parallel to these roads here, and it does give us access to some of the train line there. So that is in the perfect spot to go ahead and start connecting up to the highway. I think what we're going to do, though, is continue this little boulevard down. So we're going to continue it to about there. And I think we'll put some trees on it. I think we'll make it kind of fancy, kind of nice and all that stuff. And I want to start branching off of it a little bit. So let's go in here. We could use some of these ridiculous roads just to demonstrate how ridiculous we're talking. We're talking that ridiculous right there, which is honestly all sorts of crazy. I don't want to use it. It's just I don't have any purpose for those. I have no reason to have them, but I am determined to find a reason for them. Anyway, this is our mid spot in this road, so let's go about you know what, let's go 60 out there. And let's see. I don't know how to connect these guys up just yet. We'll have to figure that out. They might actually, well, you know what? We could just bring it straight across here under that road. That is a thing we can do. That does dip under there pretty nicely. There's a little bit of the street light poking up through there, but that seems okay. That doesn't seem so bad. And if we just go ahead and do it with this one as well to about that spot, I actually kind of like that. I'm not too sure how I feel about it being so perfectly flat, but we can probably get some nice zoning in there. We can connect a lot of that together. So we'll bring this guy over to this spot down to there. And then I guess we could do, let's see, let's use a one-way road for this. Let's do you and you. So we'll have that kind of loop around a little bit, which I think is maybe not going to be amazing for traffic, but I'm kind of okay with it. I'm not too stressed about that. In fact, you know what? Let's have a little bit of fun here. Let's have a little bit of fun. Let's raise this up. Let's go 1, 2, 3, 4. So 9 meters. And then let's do the same here. So up to 9 meters. And then what I want to do is go straight over there and straight over there and then back down. So what distance was this slope? This slope was 7 units. So we want to go 7 and 1, 2, 3 down to that was 6, I think. We want to go 7 and down to the ground, and then 7 and down to the ground. And then I think we could just do a cheeky little 5 and 5 and a cheeky little 5 and 5. And I think that looks okay. It's a little weird. It's definitely a little weird that it sort of follows that slope, but we can use a little bit of move it just to level this all out. So you guys are going to be that height. And then you're going to go even lower, so you're almost level. And then this slope gets selected, that gets selected, and they are level to that height. And then the slopes are very weird, actually. I think the slopes could start a little differently. So let's do a one-way road. Let's just do a 10 by 10 curve is what we'll do. So 10 and 10 and down to the ground. And then the same here as well. 10 and 10 and down to the ground. And that's a little less weird. It's still weird. It's still a weird section of road, but it's kind of supposed to be. I don't know what it's going to connect to in the slightest, but I like this idea. I think it's kind of fun. It's kind of weird. It's kind of different. And it technically is still on par for the grids that we're working with here. So let's go ahead and just, well, you know what? We could start building like a City Hall type area in here. So maybe this loops around the back of City Hall. Maybe this is some, I don't know, some road that does that for some reason. Let's just see where it goes. So let's go 30. And then we'll do another 10 by 10 curve because for some reason this road has curves on it and it just links in here, which is not exactly perfect for the zoning, but I'm not too worried about it being perfect for the zoning. I don't think it's ever gonna be. And then I guess this is the road that we're gonna look for a center for. So that's 28, and that is 25. So that's roughly a midpoint. So let's have a little look and see if we can get like a city hall type building here. We have a lot of options. I've got all of these. I'm not sure why. I'm not sure if I should have all of these, but we're not going to worry too much about that. Let's get a city hall type building. We have this, which is the Amsterdam Palace. We have City Hall itself, and we have some government offices. So I'm thinking what we do. The sun is coming from that angle over there, so I kind of want the sun to be hitting the front of City Hall. So let's use... Well, we could use Amsterdam Palace, which is a very, very nice building. It is a very nice building. Let's use it for the time being. Let me bring a road around here and around here and across, and let's see if we put City Hall right on there. They don't quite link together all that nicely. That's okay, though. That's not really the end of the world. What we can do is take out a bunch of these trees and put like a nice garden behind it, some fences and all that stuff. And I think that is roughly where City Hall is going to live, I guess. Doesn't seem like the worst place for it. And I guess what we could also do is a little bit of a one-way road that goes from here down to here. We'll have it go the other way. So it kind of loops around. And then on this side, we could maybe do the same thing, perhaps? Maybe not quite identical, but maybe that comes in. Maybe that goes across here, goes to there. We'll get rid of you. So that you kind of have City Hall in its own isolated thing. So you have to go through this one-way road to get into City Hall. Which is weird, but I like it. Does that make sense? Like, it's one of those things. It's really weird, but I kind of dig it. So let's take these roads out. They were just there to measure things. I think that is where City Hall is going to go. I think I am also going to go in and use Move It to just remove all of these trees because they're kind of not something we want. And then I guess what we do is just upgrade all this to have grass on it. And that's where City Hall can live at some points. This whole avenue does need ever so slightly redone though, because the zoning on it got a bit weird there. But we want to go to... I think about there and straight out. And it's still a bit weird. Zoning's still very weird on it, but that's fine. I think that's okay. We can do some nice paths through there. We'll have this just be like the boulevard where City Hall happens to be, I guess. I like it. Let's get some density in here though. As much as I like this, I do want density. I do want buildings. And I think we're going to have some nice shops opposite City Hall is probably not a bad shot. So we'll have just a nice sort of back road there. And then opposite City Hall, like I said, just a bunch of nice shops. So let's go in with, let's see, let's go from here to there. And we'll do some offices behind those. And that is pretty much central for City Hall. I think what we could do as well is actually just continue the offices done like this. So on that main road, we just have offices. And then what we want to do is say that at this spot, I think, is where we have the offices kind of wrap around to. So the rest of that is offices as well. So again, shops just in front of City Hall. And then maybe behind that is just residential. Although we can't really continue back that way, annoyingly, but that's all right. Oh, hold on a minute. Slight question. Do these two roads line up? Oh, they're so close. I think a 9x9 curve on that would line up perfectly. Oh, that has me really tempted. Okay, let's redo that curve. Let's 100% redo that curve as a little 9x9 thing so that those roads line up perfectly so that we can just have a big one-way road that goes, for some reason, from over there. Let's see. So you are elevated. You are 9x9 going down to ground level. And they should link up perfectly. Oh, that's so good. Okay. Let's see. So there is a bit of a hill going on here. That's all right. We'll keep straight slope on. Have that go to there. Have that flick around. A bit weird that the two curves don't quite line up, but that's all right. And this, well, this can just be turned into a bridge, can't it? So there, there, and elevate. So the train can pretty much still get under there. I don't think it'll be too much of a problem. Oh, that's so cool. I love it. I really genuinely love how this is turning out. It's just weird. It makes no sense, but I really enjoy it. Okay, I'm gonna be honest, I got slightly carried away with building all of this, and it's nowhere near done, but I think we're onto something pretty cool here. I think we can also probably go ahead and start putting some zoning by the campus. So I want to put some offices in a lot of that space. I think I want to do some residential in all of that space. And then I think we might just continue with the residential thing, at least. Yeah, let's actually do that. Let's say this little area over here can be commercial. And let's say this little area in here can be commercial, even though that's probably all going to be a park at some point. We'll do commercial for the time being. We'll do commercial down here as well. And I think we'll do commercial here too, just because there's the train tracks and all that stuff, which, to be fair, actually, just thinking about it, let's just bring you a little bit closer. Do a little bit more commercial in there. And let's actually swap out this bit for more offices. And then this big chunk here can just be residential as well. So all of that space can be zoned. I don't know if it's all necessarily going to stay. I will say that much. I'm not 100% sure that this whole design is going to stay, but for the time being, I like it. For the time being, I like it a lot. So we have this area down here slowly coming together. We have City Hall in here. If you're wondering how I got 4 of these government offices, by the way, with Move It, you can just click on one, hit Control-C to copy it, and then you just hit Control-Z and then you place it. It's kind of that simple. So I decided to get 4 of those, which are admittedly 960 per week, plus 320 for that, but I just think it looks kind of cool. I also, we do need to give this place power. So let's go ahead, and I'm going to use power pylons, despite the fact that I don't like them. I do want to use power pylons just because it's going to remind me to get rid of these when we don't need them anymore. And then what's going to be the best way to connect this all together? I suppose a pylon to there and there would be an idea. And then I guess we could just run it up to... Actually, you know what? That would be the best way to do it right there. If we disconnect all of that and instead just run a pylon from here into that space, up to here, to there, and I guess up to there. Actually, no, we need to finish a lot of that space too, but that's okay. So that'll give this place power, which means it'll actually be functional. We will at least see traffic using this massive road, which is causing massive tailbacks, but that's kind of to be expected as well, because we need everything to eventually loop around. But that's all right. This area, I think, is going to look kind of cool, though. I really do. I think City Hall kind of being like right there is pretty neat. I think what we could do is actually go ahead and de-zone that bit so that we can do like a park in front of City Hall, which has this like road. So I think that's going to look really cool. I'm excited to see this whole area kind of come together, and then all of this just be really, really dense and connected and all that stuff. The facility full. Do we have crematoriums? We do. We also don't have water, which is its own problem. Let's get a couple of crematoriums in here. So one there. We'll do one there. We'll do one there. We'll get one down here as well somewhere. So something like, let's see, that spot. That spot. And I guess we could probably use a crematorium over this way as well. So let's do one in that spot as well, which is actually behind a fence. So let's not do that spot. Let's do that one instead. So that should be pretty solid for us. That'll give them a crematorium. And that'll hopefully just... I was going to say, I don't know why the words cheer things up came to mind there, but that'll hopefully cheer things up, I guess, is the word we're going with there. Now, in terms of water, water availability has increased, which is interesting. Sewage treatment, on the other hand, is not quite as good. And I'm thinking water availability is only good because technically there's a lot of water in the dam. So let's just go ahead and do this, and let's do a couple more water towers just to, you know, improve things for the water there a little bit. And that'll hopefully sort things out. We still have that temporary bus line as well, don't we? Yeah. Yeah, we do. There's 36 people using it. Let's delete it because we really don't need that. Really don't be needing a temporary bus line. And I'll tell you what else we'll do. Let's just disconnect you for a second. And let's go ahead and just sort of finish this this area a little bit. Because what I'm thinking we can do is, I was gonna say run a road under there, but there's actually a pillar in the way. I think I'm gonna do it anyway. So from there to there, we're gonna need to sink that down a little bit. Is what we're gonna need to do. So there is a node under there. I'm certain of it. There is definitely a node, but I think I've grabbed the wrong one. I absolutely have. Can I? I need to grab that one. And then we need to sink it. And then we need to grab the big one and level it. And then we need to delete the pillar and then bring the little one kind of back up a little bit because it's a little bit far down. So something like that should be okay. Just to link these two sides. And then let's just bring this road down to here. Down to here. We'll continue it down a little bit further. We'll bring it, you know what, like right in here. I want it to sort of, I do like it tucking underneath the avenue there. And then I think a bit of a straight slope down to here could be kind of cool. So something like that. And it looks like there's a bit of room there. Admittedly, not a whole lot. But it looks like there's a little bit of room. So let's do the same thing on this side. Actually, let's give them a little bit more space so that the street lights aren't sticking up through the avenue. So we'll do that. That should be totally fine. We'll go ahead and straight slope down to those roads, or up to those roads on these sides, so that that's a little bit more even. And that looks all right. I think that'll be okay. That can just be a massive industrial space. We'll sort of curve it down by the water a little bit later on, because right now all I want to do with it is go in and say every bit of that is just industry. It's just factories and warehouses and all that good stuff. And it's going to hopefully mean that we never really need to build more industry, because that should be a really good supplier for all of the commercial that we're going to have done here. So that's kind of exciting. Let's also go ahead and just get another couple of power plants in here while we can, because it's going to mean I don't have to run these pylons too far. So something like that should be fine. And that'll power all of this, which will hopefully in turn give us some decent population. We have this area over here, which needs to build as well. So generally, we have a lot of space that's going to be waiting to get built. But I think, oh, hello. Good, this neighborhood's burning down again. I think it's fair to say this junction's falling apart. I think it's fair to say this junction's falling apart. But I think it's also fair to say that we might end up with a really cool city here. And thus far, this is the weirdest city that I've built in City Skylines. With 2,000 hours in this game, it is the weirdest thing I've built. Because it's all over the place. It really is. And I don't know if I've ever had as much fun building a city in this game as I'm having building this one. I'm gonna be honest. It's just really, really fun. I sort of have ideas in my head that I'm like, oh, would that work? Let's find out. That's kind of the whole point, right? The whole, give it a bit of character thing is essentially the idea is like, what if? Why not? Let's just build the thing and see what happens. And thus far, this is kind of what's happened. So I'm hoping that you're enjoying this series. This episode, obviously not recorded on a live stream and obviously a little bit longer than some of the previous ones. I don't know. I doubt it'll be cut into. I might try and cut it down in length a little bit because I've been recording over an hour at this point. But I've had a lot of fun putting this together thus far. Hopefully you guys are as well. Just as a reminder, the series is usually recorded live on mixer.com/ConflictNerd. So if you do want to tune in live, head over there, click the follow button. We are trying to get 2,000 followers. We're trying to get partnered over there. And, you know, I can't do it alone. I do need your help for all that stuff, and I do appreciate every follow, and it will also notify you when I go live. That was the point I was trying to make there, not just fishing for followers on Mixer. The point was that, you know, it will let you know when I go live. But yeah, thank you so much for watching. Like I said, this city and this series is some of the most fun I've had playing City Skylines. You know, I think it's no secret that I do burn out in this game sometimes. I've played it a lot. You know, I've played so much City Skylines. Not as much as some people, but a lot. I have played a lot of this game, and genuinely, I am just having so much fun with this series. So I really hope you guys are as well. I hope you're having even half as much fun as I'm having building this. I'm so excited to see what we can do with it. I'm so excited to see what silly things I can put together, all that kind of stuff. I'm just keen to see what we can do. I really am. So let's continue to find out together. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for watching this episode. It's been my absolute pleasure as always. And as always, I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.